It's all the people like you.
Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
So that was fun.
It was interesting.
It was 27-7. That's Derek Parish. He's in Toronto. He's playing for the Argonauts in the CFL. That's Brad Towns. He's not doing shit. Okay?
No.
He's not doing anything. And I'm Ryan. I'm in TDECU. I had no expectations for this team for this game. And I think it was even lower than that. Let's go around and give your first impressions. Derek, what do you have?
I agree with you. I really didn't have much of a big expectation because, new staff, a lot of new players. So, I mean, usually the statistics show that it's, it takes a little bit to get some ramped up. But I spent a little bit of the offseason with them. So I think culturally, they got off on a good spot. But I think, we got a long season. So we got a lot of room for improvement.
Accurate. Brad.
The only thing I was hoping for the season is to enjoy the ride of watching this team improve. And needless to say, there's a lot of room for improvement. So, we set the bar really low for the rest of the season.
That's really smart, frankly. If you set the bar so low that everything is progress from there on out, I think that's really smart. Right. D'Anthony Jones was scheduled to join us. He is having children issues, so we're not going to get him tonight. He will be here for OU. D'Anthony was texting me like analysis as the game was happening, and it was like, So look forward to that. Brad, I'm going to have you handle comments for the most part, just because of my setup here tonight. I think that was as bad a game as Donovan Smith could have had. He had no help from the offensive line. The running game was non-existent. And then the holds, you had, I believe it was 7 holding penalties, 2 on special teams, 5 on the offensive line, and I believe Malik Carr even got one at tight end.
I think that just boils down to, honing on your technique and your craft. And I mean, refs are known to go, AWOL, but I mean, 5 on the O-line, that's, whether it's 1 or 2, there's still a few that shouldn't have happened. So I think the O-lineman is a key factor in getting that offense ramped up because it starts up front, defense and offense. It starts up front. So I think that's a big component that should be looked at first, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that is that a I don't know, is that a result of guys, is it lack of athleticism or just not being dialed in your responsibilities of where they're supposed to be picking rushers up from?
I don't think it's a lack of athleticism because those guys, everybody, it's college football. Everybody's on scholarship. Everybody has some sort of talent that granted them the ability to play there. So I think at the end of the day, it goes into preparation and really detailed of what you as a player is lacking at that would improve your piece of the puzzle.
Right.
I think this staff is going to be crazy good at details, but they were not tonight. This was rough. Willie preaches Cougs don't beat the Cougs, but the Cougs beat the Cougs tonight. Those holding
Along
calls.
with everybody else.
Well, there were some other people beating them. The two grounding, the almost safety, which obviously was not a safety.
Right.
There was a lot of bad. UNLV looked pretty good there at the end. Time and circumstance. Settle down, everybody.
It's easy to say that he's got to be immediately replaced because look how great UE played.
Slow down.
I will say this: he made really quick decisions. I don't care about who it was against. I don't care if it was second team. He made quick, decisive actions, and I mean you're going to have that if you're going to. I mean, the offensive line is not going to be magically great, so that's going to be an issue no matter what. And so I think you've got to make a decision and go with it, and you got to do it real quick because they're going to be on you.
Right, I agree with that. I think he had confidence in the drive that he had, moving the ball, and like you said, decisive decisions as well. And even though if you can't get the O lineman to be great where you need it to be, those other pieces have to come together. They have to for amount of any little success to come around.
I think
You're already going to comments, huh?
Yeah. I mean, they're piling up, and so excited for the first catch show of the season. Okay. A lot. This is
Starnes. We miss you. We needed some super stats.
so, Derek. You don't know this because Starnes is irrelevant, but Starnes was a sports editor of the Daily Cougar last year. He did shows with us, and he's not doing it this year, and he's so sad that he's commenting on this. That poor guy. A lot to unpack, but anybody that thinks a different QB fixes that is insane. Put a star next to Connor because that's exactly right. A quarterback does not fix that offensive line. Donovan didn't have any time. I don't think he handled that very well. And he was just off. He was hesitant, which is bad when you don't have any time.
Yeah, I think it involves a lot of trust in the O lineman.
Yeah.
If you're getting the ball, you're dropping back, and your first thing you're looking at is who's coming and who's blitzing, rather than looking at the coverage that's coming into play. I think that's where the lack of trust happens.
Yeah. And that's how he's not picking up open receivers downfield.
Yeah.
Right.
He did miss a couple guys early, especially.
It's too late to pull the trigger. If your eyes are on the rush, then and that's what defenses are there to make quarterbacks be uneasy. Disguising blitzes, bringing people from different angles, get their eyes moving.
Yeah. Here's UNLV's stat line: 6 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions, 4 pass breakups, 5 hurries. That's a pretty nice day.
Yeah, they're sitting pretty in film tomorrow. They're feeling good tomorrow in film.
I have a question for you about that. So with Willie, they are going to take Sundays off and come back and practice Monday. As a player, after this, do you want Sunday off or do you want to be back in there watching film on Sunday?
That's an interesting way to go about things because usually every year I played football, you usually come in the next day to watch film, practice, whatever. But I mean, after a loss, I would want to go in there
Yeah.
and check it out. I mean, maybe after like a close call win or an overtime win, like sleep in, take the day, and then that next day come in. But I think after a loss, probably next day. You would really expect it to have a day off after a loss like that.
Yeah. So as a captain,
Nah.
you're getting your guys together, right? You're going to be in the facility doing
for
something.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah. What was the breakdown? What went wrong? How can we fix it?
Yeah. So let's take a timeout real quick. Hang on, Brad. We're going to get back to you because everybody's curious what you have to say. Derek, tell us about where you're at, what you're doing, what's happening.
So I'm in Toronto right now, playing for the Argonauts, playing defensive end, edge rusher, and just we're about 10, 11 games into the season, so we're right in the thick of it. But other than that, man, it's just football. Learning a new experience, being up in Canada. So it's been a blast so far, and it's just a blessing to be playing football.
What do you think about the Canadian Football League, and what's the temperature in Toronto right now?
It's hot, but it's not Houston hot.
Yeah.
Like it's like the hot out here is what people used to pray for.
Okay.
It's like a
It's
Christmas
not beaten,
time.
but it's there.
When you
Just
play
getting into
there,
it. Yeah.
when you play there, do you wear that big oven mitt that you wore here?
No. I only wore that because
Oh, okay. I know. I'm just messing with you.
Yeah. No,
It seemed to get bigger. Yeah.
Oh no, that was one of my favorite things to watch is that big giant hamburger helper mitt.
Yes.
We had to lather it up and get like a little thin, so it wasn't so soft. Try to make it hard, like a hard cast as much as you could.
Right.
Yeah, punish people. Shout out to Jamie Hollingsworth, our basketball analyst, who had kidney stones 3 plays into the game tonight and is at the ER. Sorry about that, Jamie, but you're soft. So I can scratch that one off. UNLV is better than people think. UNLV did not have to do anything tonight to win this game. And they got inside the 10-yard line, I think, twice and came away with no points in that second quarter. They didn't do anything to say it was great, but they're a better team than people are going to give them credit for. Willie in the press conference right now just said that today was very disappointing and they did a poor job coaching. And I think most fans would agree with that. Zion Chris was banged up and unavailable on that final drive when Uyale led you to that touchdown. So that answers one question.
He did catch a knock early on.
I don't know. If you recall, the last play he was in there was a quarterback draw, and I think he got hit pretty hard.
Right.
Derek, what about the defensive line and the way they played? What do you think?
I think overall, interior-wise, they weren't bad. They really couldn't get nothing going inside the tackles. Yeah. But I saw a few edges lost, and I think that comes down to personal pride. Like there's a lot of unwritten rules in the D-line room, like never let a tight end block you or never lose your edge, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a couple of those tonight, but overall, he was getting the ball out pretty quick, so it was hard to judge.
Yeah.
Have good, consistent pressure. But, I mean, overall, I think that box just needs to be just aggressive dogs, man. Hungry, foaming at the mouth, sideline to sideline dogs. And I'm not one to say anything negative, but that's not what I saw tonight as the standard of what Houston defense should be.
Right.
What do you think about Oscar Giles? What is your impressions of him as a D-line coach?
I think he's a good coach. It's funny. He was recruiting me when he was at Houston the first time with Herman. So they didn't take me with them to Texas when I really wanted them to, but it all worked out. I stayed home, but I think he's a good coach. He's got a lot of experience in the game, and I think the guys in the room really need to, really listen to him and hone in on what he's teaching them.
So I know everybody has their superstitions and their personal quirks, but I was on the field about 90 minutes before the game started, and Oscar Giles came out and he just started doing laps around the field, and I clocked him at 18 laps around the field, and so he's going outside the white line, so he's doing 135 or 140 yards long, 75 yards wide, and just like walking, and he's talking to himself, and he's so dialed into whatever he was focused on. But I've never seen anybody do that, and I'll admit I watched it for a long time.
Everybody's got their superstitions. Yeah, that's definitely right.
Yeah.
18 laps is a lot.
Ryan, question on the
Yes.
on this comment is this our first donation from Houston?
It's not even in dollars.
Pounds, baby.
How are we going to figure that out? That's euros. Yeah.
Oh. I don't know about foreign money.
Yeah. Yes, it is. I didn't even know you could donate, but keep doing it.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, we'll give that money to players and for NIL and guests on the show, and I mean, we don't keep any of that. Brad, were you impressed with anybody tonight?
I thought Jamal Morris played well.
He had a great first quarter. He was all over the field. I think he had 6 tackles in the first quarter alone.
Yeah.
He may have ended up with 7 or 8, but I love Jamal Morris. When you're in the media, you're not supposed to root for guys, or root for teams. I root for Jamal Morris. That guy's story is so cool, and he is such a down-to-earth guy. But I really liked him. I thought he had a great night. AJ Halsey had that big pass breakup early in the game, and then he had the interception in the end zone and brought it back 48 yards. Yeah,
I think it was Davis that got the pass breakup.
No, the first one was Halsey. It was a third down play, and he popped it. He popped that ball loose.
I'm talking
Am I making that up?
The corner of the end. The corner of the end.
Oh no! I'm talking. This is middle of the field, first quarter, maybe their first drive. They were starting to put some stuff together, and he met a receiver right in the middle of the field and dislodged that ball. I really thought he had a nice game.
Yeah, definitely.
And then Mike Batten played well up the middle.
Yeah. That's the first time I got to see him play. I was impressed with that. But the standout for me was Muse. I thought he looked really good. Explosive. That was nice to see.
He is explosive. So he had some trouble at times catching the ball in the preseason. But every time he did, he made something happen. And I thought that there was a really good chance that he would do something. And I think he just earned himself more playing time.
Yeah.
Marquise Shoulders and Devon Williams both got a lot more snaps than probably people were expecting. And I believe 39 total players first time got in the game for a U of H team, which tells you how big this roster change was. 62 new guys.
Yeah.
Look at DA.
After the coaching switch, which,
Yeah.
I mean, usually happens. So
Yeah.
But the fact
Especially
that they're
now.
into their depth, yeah, definitely.
When you were with this team, my cleaning lady just came in. I'm in a suite. I'm in Clark Beecher suite, and they wanted to clean. But, I mean, it's pretty clean. What was your impression of the guys on the defensive line, the new guys like Carlos Allen, and then Keith Cooper. Derek, what were your impressions of them when you were around them?
I thought, they were all hard workers, man. Everybody that was around on that team, really got to it, and just the strength staff that they got there really, it really got a hold of them really well, and just all good around dudes. They trust each other, and as the scheme changed from when I was there, it kind of took a little bit of different type of recruiting, different type of D lineman. That with kind of the 3-4 look, so 2 outside backers, 3 interior. A little bit thicker guys in terms of what you need for a 4 eyes, 0 nose. But, I think once they learn to trust each other and work as a unit in the box, they're gonna be real great. They need a couple more battles together, but I think they're gonna be great.
As a defensive guy, changing from a 4-man front to a 3-man front, having that dog out there, having an anchor, what do you think about that for U of H right now?
I think my opinion is that regardless of the scheme, I think it's the players that are in the scheme. Because,
Okay.
I mean, you have a 4-2 and a 3-4 for different reasons. I think it's how you play your pieces and how you call calls in those defenses what makes it. Instead of, recruiting them like in Will, you have to throw in, like you said, a dog position or a sandbacker. You kind of have to adjust your recruiting and how differently a type of play guys you need for your scheme.
Yeah. The score was disappointing. The flags were more disappointing. Expected him to clean that up. I know there were 2 defensive flags in that really early. There was that pass interference, and then maybe a hold. I don't remember. But I don't remember too many defensive flags after that. Am I missing something, Brad?
I don't think you are. I was trying to look up on our stats where the flags were, but there we go. We got a holding, intentional grounding, holding, delay of game, intentional grounding, defensive penalties, holding.
Okay.
It's a lot of holding going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of holding.
I'm a D-line guy, so I'm gonna call somebody holding every time.
Do we know what
He calls them to do that too? That's the only choice they had when you were bound.
It's crazy, man. And they still weren't calling it.
Give that hamburger helper.
I think we're about to have a hard conversation about Donnie. I'm going to be honest with you. Donovan's going to, unless something just crazy happens this week, Donovan's getting the start at OU. You're certainly not starting Uyale at OU. You're just not doing it.
That would be cruel. That would
not. Yeah, it would be cruel.
I don't think Fritz would just give up all faith in Donovan just yet. You know what I mean? Give him time to click with his weapons. Go against, he finally had an opportunity to go against somebody that wasn't his own teammates that you've seen over and over and over again. So I think now they have, tape to adjust, tape to get better at. So I think it's only up from here.
Yeah. So you get better from first week to second week. That's pretty clear. How much do they get better? And, you're going into a bad situation for a get-right game.
But I also think, as long as you're getting better, 1% better each day, like, although, you only have so many opportunities in a season, but I think, the clear-cut problems, I think the adjustments will make themselves clear going into practice.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the head coach of this team tonight, what did you say to the team in the locker room before you went out to media?
I don't know. I'll probably cuss up a storm or something. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, definitely, obviously, disappointment for sure because everybody hates to lose. But I don't know. I guess that's why I'm not a head coach because that'd be tough.
Yeah. For like 2 weeks, I never heard Fritz curse. And then all of a sudden, he just decided, all right, here we go. And it was like, oh, okay, there it is. He is a football coach.
Right.
Brad, you wanted to say something, and I've cut you off a couple times.
I don't remember.
Okay, good job, Brad.
I was trying to think of it, and I just couldn't remember. I mean, I only get a few thoughts.
That's true. Muse had that 53-yard punt return wiped out by a hold on the line of scrimmage. Is my audio as bad as it sounds in my ear?
Oh, I can hear pretty good.
There's some feedback.
Okay.
It's okay.
I don't know where that's coming from, to be honest, but Muse had that 53-yard return wiped out by a hold on the line of scrimmage. Now, that flag came out 5 seconds after that ball left. It was really surprising. And then Keith Cooper blocked that field goal, that 21-yard field goal, which you don't see that too much.
I agree. I feel blocked field goals big, but those penalties on returns are killers.
Yeah,
Straight up killers.
I mean,
whether it was BS or not, like even making it close, like special teams coaches say all the time, like if it looks close, don't do it. Like, you know what I mean? Stay away. Go find more work because those, like you said, that it went all the way back. So
it was 63-yard loss on that one.
That's a big time return that can't go back.
You know, it came at a point where we had a chance to really change the momentum of the game.
Yes.
And then that just kind of killed it. It's like, oh shit, here we go again.
Yeah.
Derek, I really like talking about special teams. I mean, I really, really do. And how about that freshman punter?
Booted it, huh?
He booted some. He kicked on a 4th and 8 and only kicked it 7 yards. So the punt wouldn't have even gotten the first down. That was a problem.
I might have missed
Yeah,
that.
He shanked it. It was probably the 3rd. When he misses, he usually misses off the right side of his foot, but this one went left in a hurry.
I must have been in the bathroom. I might have missed it.
Well, you really didn't miss it. But yeah.
He had a couple of other really good ones.
Brad,
He's a freshman?
Yeah, he's a freshman. He came from Australia 3 months ago.
Man, you ate from the Aussies. I love it.
Yeah. He's the first one that's not married or about to get married. So he's got a chance with that accent. I'm rooting for him. I'm sure some good things will happen.
But
Ryan, what was the stat you had early in the game? What was it? Not early in the game, but at halftime? 29 players?
29 first-time players played in the first half. Guys that weren't here last year or that redshirted or whatever.
Their first U of H.
Their first U of H experience. And, I mean, putting all that together is going to take time. The offensive line being as bad as it was, it doesn't matter who's playing at receiver or tight end. I did not think the tight ends had the day that I kind of expected. I was surprised we didn't see more 2 tight end sets just to help block, especially for the running games. I think you had 44 yards on the ground before that last drive. I don't think you had very many yards on that last drive on the ground, but
right.
It was not good. U of H had 38 net rush yards.
Yeah,
that's not great.
Not establishing the run game can kind of put you in a pickle for pass protection because it makes you one-dimensional. And if you get in a situation where you have to max protect, you're taking two weapons off the field and putting them in the box just to protect. Yeah. And that's always not a good matchup on the back end. So, or for the offense, and that just makes it harder for them. So, establishing the run game, I feel is very key. And they have great backs, so I think it does come solely down to the O lineman and making way for them.
Mm-hmm.
There weren't a lot of opportunities, but when Sanford got the ball, I mean, he showed you some things.
Yeah, I think he flashed. For sure.
He's the guy that needs to get outside. Go ahead, Brad. Sorry.
If we could just give them a little bitty seam, they don't need much. I think our guys are fast enough and explosive enough. If you can just get a little bit of seam and not get touched in the backfield, these guys are going to be able to make some things happen.
Yeah, definitely.
With all the transfers and new players, how difficult is it to kind of mesh everybody together when they're, some of them will be there during the spring camp, and then another group is going to come in summer. How is that whole integration process, and how tough is it to get all on the same page?
I mean, you say that it's very true when you think about it from the outside perspective, it would seem as difficult, but when you really get into the swing of things, it's really just about say, depending on when you come in before the off season or right before fall camp. I think you come before off season, you have more time to mesh with the team, to learn your players, people around you, and your role within the scheme. When you get to fall camp, I think transferring to any program from another is different because you have to learn a whole scheme, a whole new system. So
right,
just being a sponge and absorbing everything, I think really helps that kind of glue stick with the overall picture of it.
Right. Because I would think that the difficult part of it is not people not knowing what they're supposed to do, but trusting the guy beside them to do what they're going to do, so they're not going to go and try to do their job.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I feel like to really have trust with one another on a football team, you got to go through some sucky days together, whether it's 6 300-yard shuttles or heavy squat day in the weight room. You're doing those hard things together, and I think that's what molds that trust. So I also think that's very important.
Right.
Few comments. A carnival of ineptitude. Donovan looked lost, overwhelmed. D-line way too small. Coaching was horrible. I'm not going to argue with any of that. I will say that when you can't do anything on the lines, your coaching is going to look bad. But what's the alternative?
I think there's some
almost.
But I do have to defend my small D lineman, man, because I'm considered undersized, and I think some cliche stuff where it's it's not the size of the human, it's the size of the dog and the heart, all of that. But I think they just got to build their tools regardless of size. If you have the abilities to be successful, you just got to. I think it does come down to trust and coaching. But offense, I can't speak for that. But I'm gonna defend my small D lineman.
Okay, fair. Almost feels like Barbay was feeling Donovan in the play calling out. I don't know what's going to change with that. I don't know. Barbay's up in the box, and they're using that in-helmet communication down to Donnie. And there were certain situations tonight where I was curious of how it was going, but I would not be surprised to see Barbay on the sideline at some point. But I don't know if he's feeling him out or if it just didn't work. And it doesn't matter feeling out, not feeling out, feeling up, whatever. It's not going to work.
Yeah, I think now they're going to understand what plays work and what plays don't versus this coverage or this look. So I think it's a little bit of trial and error. with what they got going.
Where you're at now in Toronto in the CFL, how much video do you watch or film?
Probably a few hours a day, including the
Okay.
time when I'm in the building. I'd say probably a few hours. Yeah, probably a few hours a day, considering my role on special teams as well. So
What more than you watched when you were here?
about the same. I mean, my process, the way I watch film is pretty much the same. I've made a few adjustments on like how I take notes and stuff because I'm known to chicken scratch. So I got to go back and reorganize. But mainly, I'd probably say, yeah, about the same
Okay.
time. But just as long as I feel comfortable at the end of my studies, I think that's truly what matters, like my confidence of it.
So you watch it with the team, with your group, with special teams, and then on your own.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
And do y'all have like the iPad? Okay. The same kind of setup y'all had when you were here.
Yep.
Here's some questions for you. How do you feel about the DB room? And do you have any tips for a potential walk-on?
Okay. I don't really know too much about this DB room, but like I said, I think in any room, you got to establish a leader within it to get the guys going, to lead them in the battle, that someone they can look to when bullets are flying and keep everybody's corral up. But tips for a walk-on, I'd say, I mean, brother, it's an uphill battle, and you have to go harder, train harder, practice harder than guys who are on scholarship, who are the ones and the twos. And it's a tough reality with walk-ons. It's an uphill battle, but I know many walk-ons that I play with that earned the scholarship and found the role on the team and got insane playing time, and it's what they deserve because they showed up every day as if they were on scholarship and they had the limelight from the jump, just showing up every day and being a better you every day, finding something to get better at.
Brad, before we go on, how many times this week did you have Star Pizza?
I didn't have any this week. It was a
That's
slow
disappointing
week for me. It was a slow
I'm gonna
week.
be honest with you. I don't
miss Star
even know what
Pizza,
to say.
I miss some Star Pizza, man.
That's a good segue. Star Pizza. They're good. They're great. We love them. Here's Brad sitting in front of a pizza like a fat fuck. And then there's Brad eating more.
It's delicious, man. What can you say?
So I went with the specialist to Star Pizza Thursday night. We spent about 3 hours just bullshitting, having a great time. Everybody got their own thing. The chef's special that you liked, Brad, which blew my mind, couldn't understand it, don't understand it. There's so many things on this thing. There's pepperoni, there's cupped pepperoni, there's salted butter, there's honey.
Wow.
And it's a Chicago style, so the sauce is on top, which a little weird for me, but I know Joseph Kim and somebody else got that and destroyed it.
And I'll be honest with you. When I had it, I had it on the buffet, and so I didn't know what it was, but it looked good. I didn't know there was honey on it. I didn't taste the honey, but it just tasted great no matter what.
So buffet, Tuesdays and Fridays, 11 to 2. It's $13.95. You get a drink. Every other weekday, there are specials, $8 specials. You get the personal pizza. You get a drink. Salad for $2. Brad's eating a salad now.
Yeah.
So TriStar Pizza, 3 locations, 59 in Shepherd, Washington, Harvard, and in Katy. You okay there, Brad?
Yeah, just felt like something bit me on the neck.
Hey, so those watching, take advantage of them food prices, man, because it's insane up here. Better take that $8.99 special and run with it.
What's it like up there?
I mean,
Okay.
I'll give an example. My foot-long Subway is $20.
What?
Yeah.
One?
One foot-long steak, egg, and cheese is $20.
20. Long way from the $5 foot long.
$5 foot long. Yeah.
Right. We won't ever see that again.
No.
Jeez.
You know, I was in Denver last year, and I had a Jones for Wendy's, and they have their 4 things for $4 special. But in Denver, it was 4 things for $5. They still called it 4 for $4. So those prices are out of control. This is one of my favorite photos of Derek Parish. Coming home, about to score a touchdown. Love that one. But yeah. And so Thursday night, we're walking out of Star Pizza, and what do I see on the wall?
Yeah.
DA and the Sac Ave sign. Look at that guy, CEO of Sac Ave. I can't wait for him to be here next week. One of my favorite people ever.
He's awesome.
In this program.
He's awesome. Man. I'm gonna tune into that one next week. I'm gonna tune into.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna tune in.
The web kid is Kentrell Webb. Kentrell Webb is going to be an all-conference player at some point here. I think he is a real deal, and you're going to hear about him quite a bit. I'm scanning through these comments that Towns was doing a great job of monitoring.
Well,
Chris Hill got drunk and said F and didn't finish, but maybe we understand that one. Helmet communication. Do you get a delay of game with a speaker? How do you get a delay of game? So the speaker goes off, the communication goes off at 15 seconds on the play clock. It's automatic. There was a situation where U of H was late getting subs in, and so UNLV subbed. And it was 10 seconds when UNLV got their people in. And so I was curious, like, were there issues with you need to change that play? I still don't know what I think about this in-helmet communication. Obviously, it's been a thing in the NFL for a while.
Is this the
UNLV?
first doing that?
Yes, this is U of H's first game with it. So it's the quarterback. Most teams have the quarterback and a middle linebacker that have the in-helmet communication. It's one player on each side. Everybody that has the communication has a second helmet that doesn't have it, because you cannot have 2 players on the field with that in-helmet communication. Right. UNLV actually got a penalty for that on U of H's first drive, but I don't think U of H took it. I think they made a first down and declined it.
Said 2 people with the green dot. I guess they got.
Yeah, so there's a green dot on top on the back of the helmet, so the back judge can see if both linebackers have it, if a DB has it, or whatever. So Jamal Morris and I think I'm blanking. Somebody else had the green dot. Obviously, Donnie and Uwe and Zion Chris had it on the offense.
Right.
They've been working on the situation in practice with Barbet and Sean Bell, the quarterback coach. But I don't know if that had anything to do with the issues you had. I can't imagine it did, because that system isn't having you block anybody. Did A&M just lose? They sure did. Wow, they ended up losing by 10.
Oh, wow.
Just 23-13. It was 13-0 last time I looked.
Who did they play?
Tech ended up winning by
Notre Dame
in overtime.
But they were playing Abilene Christian?
Yeah.
That's not great. Didn't see any of the Tulsa transfers. Marquise Shoulders and Devon Williams both played quite a bit. They got 15, 20 snaps each, I think.
You didn't see a whole lot from many receivers because the ball didn't hit any of them.
No, the ball did not get to very many receivers at all. When it did, it was late or not in the right spot. Question for Parish: how does a game like that make you feel as a recruit on the sideline visiting? Would you want to go through that, or are you saying I can go play here?
That's I'm on the other side of that. I'm saying I can go play here and be a factor.
I'm like, if I have to go to Texas and wait for 3 years,
I'm starting day one.
Yeah, that's usually the morale, like seeing a game, especially like if you would see your position group is the one that's kind of, lacking in that regard. That would make me excited. That would make me excited.
Yeah. I really don't know what to expect tonight, but was this better or worse than you guys expected? This was worse. My first comment is my expectations were low, but fuck. So that's where I am. Brad, this was the same score as 10 years, 2 days ago when you opened this place. It was UTSA 27, Houston 7. Same exact score. And you scored in that game with 1 minute and 6 seconds left. You scored in this game with 1 minute left. Mm-hmm. And I think that game was worse, but I'm going to have to go and kind of think about that. But this was not great.
Well, and I saw that being compared earlier on tonight, and the mechanics of it, were similar, but also that was UTSA's first Division I game. This was a team who was in the Mountain
No,
West.
that was Texas State. But yeah. UTSA
they had been up 1 year, right?
Yeah. That was in the third year of a head coach, though. I don't know.
This was a team who was in the Mountain MWC title game last year.
Yeah.
Completely different teams.
I would have scheduled a JV team in this spot. I would not have even played an FBS team.
I don't think it's a bad idea. Being a new staff, new team, new culture, setting up a confidence booster game.
Mm-hmm. And see, we got OU coming up, so that's we're definitely.
Have to pack a lunch
everybody who's freaking out right now, don't get too. You have to understand, we're going to have this happen a few more times.
Yeah,
it's going to be this is not going to be pretty all the time.
No.
But does this team get better?
It might not be pretty very often. I think so. At least year one.
That's how you have to judge this. Is okay. Now you've set a baseline. In 2 weeks, are they better? In 4 weeks, are they better? In 8 weeks, are they better?
Time will tell.
I am going to OU next week. Be here for Rice. Taking Cincinnati off, not going to that game. And then going, I think there's a home game after that, and then you go to TCU, and then a week off. I'm very interested to see what happens here.
We're gonna have to talk to Star Pizza and see if they'll make you a Cincinnati chili pizza.
Okay, fuck that guy. We're not even talking about that anymore. I don't like him. I never liked him. I didn't like him the first time we went to Michigan together 21 years ago. Let's see. What other notes do I have? That pick six. I don't know what the TV view of that was, but I was on a direct line with me and Donovan and then Sneed. And that ball never looked good. I thought the decision was bad. He was late. Mm-hmm. Did that look any better to you?
No, they even talked about it in the booth that, they said, the defender made a great play, but a lot of that's Donovan's fault. He should have double pumped that or adjusted his arm angle, because that guy was all over that from the jump.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, here's how the game went for me. By note, my first note was Manjack got 2 blocks on a kick return. On the 41-yarder, he got 2 blocks on that. It's like, well, hopefully that's not the highlight for the night, and it was one of them.
Connor, you're no longer allowed to comment. The main thing, I really didn't expect this to be that bad, but this team has to get better. If Willie Fritz had no record to run on, and this was his first time as the head coach, you would be 100% justified in thinking, oh, shit, what did we just get ourselves into? But the guy has made it happen. And he's not going to me, he has stressed that I could go into the portal and gotten another 40 guys, right? We could go and find the NIL money to pay those guys, or we could go get high school guys. We could build that pipeline to Louisiana, the pipeline here to Houston, and build this the right way so that these are not 1 year just trying to fill in a gap.
Right.
And
I agree with that. I think it is important to get, high school guys or young transfer guys that you can build a culture with and prolong an era, like you said, rather than getting, right now guys at the portal who are going to be gone in a year or two.
Because you're always going to be chasing that right now guy.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be that way.
Well,
They're doing, go ahead, Brad.
That right now guy also has major downstream impacts, because if you're recruiting guys out of high school and then you're bringing in a senior to compete for the exact same job by the time this kid is going to be a sophomore or a junior, you're basically blocking him, and so
you're telling him to go get in the portal,
right?
But
And so if
the
you're
thing,
looking for
man,
those one shots, go ahead.
I think people there's a lot of people are so quick to just jump in the portal instead of right out the toughness, man, right out the suck. You can't expect to go into a program and just be validated off rip. You can't forget about earning stripes. You can't forget about earning, like I said, earning those patches. Getting within the program, man. And I think that's how a lot of those guys gain respect over the years, because they not so much as wait your turn, but still show up as the backup, as the guy earning for that spot. And plus, if they bring in a right now guy and you're a young guy, that could give you confidence to get better, or motivate you to get better to try to beat him out.
Yeah.
So I think there can be good. There can always be good from it.
Right.
The goal of recruiting is to recruit over every player on your roster and just constantly do that. And if you're going and getting a junior, senior every year, which is what you'll have to do if that's the decision you go with, you're screwed. If you're getting, I don't have a problem with the transfer portal. I think there are a lot of guys that go somewhere, realize this is not it, and want to leave. Now they're going to be sophomores. That's fine. Then put them in that competition with those young guys. Willie is building this bridge to Louisiana, and I have wanted this for years. Louisiana puts out more high-end prospects per capita than any state. You're filling the ranks of A&M and LSU and Alabama and Auburn and Arkansas. You're not going to compete for most of those guys. Fine. But there's a second level that A&M and LSU and Alabama aren't going to take, but that you can make into a really great college player. There's a lot of those guys in Louisiana. They don't have that second option. But kids I grew up in South Louisiana, and we always thought of Houston as a destination. Houston was it. We vacationed here. We wanted to be here. We loved the Astros. I mean, it was it. And so those kids getting an opportunity to come to this city is a big deal. And Willie Fritz gets that. And obviously his Tulane ties have helped a lot. But he is getting legit guys out of Louisiana. And he's also getting them right here in Houston. Shadow Creek, Ridge Point, you're getting a lot of guys out of those places.
Yeah,
And-
definitely. I think they should stay home. Stay in that that deep South territory, like you said, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas. Stay in this realm. You got everything you need.
Yeah. And U of H fans are going to have to step up on NIL. That the new AD was here tonight, Eddie Nunez. He was at every tailgate today. I have never seen an AD that was that visible to so many people. And so many people came up to me to tell me they've already met the AD. But his job is to finish funding this facility and NIL. And with all the other noise going on, it's NIL. And you got to find the funds for that basketball team and for this football team.
Gotcha.
And if you're going to compete for the recruits you want, it's just going to have to be a thing. And you're going to have to get creative with it, and you're going to have to find businesses, but you're also going to have those fans, those $15 to $30 to $40 a month guys to help out. I sat next to his grandmother in the season ticket session. Your grandmother was so sweet.
That's awesome. Small world. Thank you so much.
Cleasel has been a great follow. They seem to be targeting the high 3-star kids. I don't even care about stars. Those people that are ranking them have no clue what they're watching.
It don't matter, man. Those stars don't make a damn.
They don't make any damn difference. If you tackle a guy out on this field, you sack someone as a 3-star, it counts the same as if you're a 5-star.
Yeah.
So give me the guy that goes and makes the play, not the guy that has all the stars. And give me the guy that wants to get better and can be developed. You don't bring in Willie Fritz for the flashy guys. You bring in Willie Fritz to develop guys.
Yeah. You want coachable players, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I think some of the players with the high rankings or whatever, they get them because they've earned them. They just happen to be really good players. I think that's the key, is that it's not about identifying how great they are in high school. It's projecting how good they can be with working with your program, and how are you going to project a guy, how he is going to develop over time. Because, you can get a guy that's a 4-star, but that's as good as he's going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's at his absolute best. Or you can get another guy that he could be unrated, but his ceiling is a lot higher because of what he's going to be able to bring to the table. I mean, might have measurables that he can grow into. Could be a young kid who is a senior in high school that hasn't physically developed, that has the length and the speed that you want, that fits a profile that you're looking for. It becomes, and then again, I think it's also a mentality of going from, the game completely changes when you go from high school to college.
Oh yeah.
Because it stops being, it's no longer, it ain't a game, it's a business. It's a real grind, and people, some people are built for it, some people ain't built for it.
Yeah, and if you're not careful, you can get lost in the depth chart really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everybody at this level was the best where they came from. They were the superstar. And guess what? You get matched up with a lot of different superstars. Some guys are going to blink. Some guys are going to get real excited about competing against those guys too.
Yeah. 100%.
I mean, that was the thing that stood out most to me when I got to U of H, is that I looked around on the baseball field and I'm like, I know every one of these guys, and I know every one of them were all district, all metro, all state. They were the best players on their team. It's like, okay, it's going to get real here.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's the first time anybody's ever brought up a grandmother on our show, and so I appreciate something different. I really do. I like it. I'm starting to, yeah. I'm looking for anything just to build on here. You were 2 of 15 on third down. That's probably not great.
Not great.
That's no bueno.
No.
You don't game plan for that.
No.
That boils down to just execution.
Yeah. 247 total yards. That is that's hard to do.
I will say, man, it could have been a lot better, but I didn't mind the performance of the defense.
I agree.
There was a lot of bend and not break, and they got in a lot of bad situations.
Well, in early on, the first thing that stood out to me on the defense is we got guys that are over pursuing, and while in the game, I think that's good. I mean, I think it's bad, but in the grand scheme of things, you can dial those guys in. You can correct pursuit angles. But then the way that they were moving, they looked all right. They looked solid because this is a UNLV team they're gonna light up the scoreboard. They're gonna put up some points. They're gonna put up a lot of yards. And
they did not put up very many yards today. 308.
Not until late.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were running for 5 or 6 yards a pop in the second half, maybe a little in the first half too.
But I think there's a lot to build on the defense. At least there's something to identify there that okay, there's something there. There's something there. I don't have that feeling on the offense, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But defense, if they can keep you in the game, I mean, if you can hold teams to 24 or not 24,
27. So we have
take away the pick six. Hold them to 20 points.
Yeah,
you can hold most of your schedule to 20 points. You win a lot of games.
Yeah. I agree.
We've tracked these stats for 15 years. When a U of H team gives up 28 or less, they win 90% of the games. 28 or less. That's a touchdown a quarter. If you can do that, you're going to win a lot of games. This defense gave up 20 and stood up on some a 3rd and 1 and a 4th and 1. Mm-hmm. And then down on this end, where they blocked the field goal.
I think that shows them a little bit of their identity. And I think they keep stepping towards that. They're gonna be just fine come times when it matters.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, it is. It's not a. There's no such thing as a good loss. Losses are losses. But I see some stuff there that I think are positive. We just got to get it figured out on offense because, in today's game, you got to score. I mean, you got to score.
You got to put up a lot of points.
Yeah.
Yep.
Met Batten's family today. Great people. Also asked Jack Martin's mom about the other Jack Martin. She got a laugh out of that. So Jack Martin, the kicker at U of H, is from Dothan, Alabama. When he was going around to camps in Alabama in high school, he always ran into this other kicker from Mobile named Jack Martin. And the U of H Jack Martin went to Troy while the other Jack Martin went to Alabama. He walked on. He got tired of being at Alabama, decided to leave. The other Jack Martin went to Alabama. They had the same locker, like it's crazy. And then Jack comes here. The other Jack Martin went to South Alabama to play for Major Applewhite. And I believe they lost tonight. Jack was telling me all that Thursday night, and I'm writing it down, and like, what the fuck is he saying? Like, it didn't make any sense, but it did eventually. So let's go ahead and do final. By the way, thank y'all so much. There's 622 people above my head here watching us right now. We appreciate that. Star Pizza, $8 for the lunch special. You've got a holiday Monday. Go in and demand that lunch special. And then Tuesdays and Fridays, the lunch buffet. The guys are great there. They are starting a bunch of NIL stuff right now. Zion Taylor from Shadow Creek down in Pearland. They're doing it with the specialists. They're doing some new things. Going to work on some other stuff that we're going to help them with. When you think about how small Star Pizza really is, it's 3 pizza places. And the amount of stuff that they're doing with U of H and with NIL and with athletes. And they did the thing with Hawk. They do videos with Ryan Elvin and all these people. It's a small company. Go support them. They're a small company doing big things with U of H people. And U of H people should go and support them. Towns is eating them 6 times a week. He's doing his job.
Hey man, I've been a supporter
Carbon up
for 20 years, man.
So I'm sitting with Mike Pittman, who runs Star Pizza, and when he was telling them about you, he gave him your phone number, and the girl that worked the register was like, "Oh yeah, we know him," just by your phone number. So,
oh yeah, man, I'm telling you, I've been going there since Satellite Lounge was around.
Okay, well, there's a reason you're the size you are. You carb up for football season, and
That's
people
right.
appreciate that. Derek, how many times did you work out today?
Twice.
Yeah, I thought so.
Practice in a training session. Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this, finish this up with some final thoughts. Brad, what do you have?
Took one on the chin. It's time to regroup, go back, hit the tape, and we're going to find out. We're going to find out who the character guys with a start like this. There's no time to really sit around and get worried about it and cry about it. You just got to go out and play. You only get so many of these. This is the first of 12, maybe 13.
Yeah.
Can't dwell on it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think it's, like you said, this game reveals character, and I think after this first loss, it will reveal some. And like they don't have time to lick wounds, man. We got OU next week, so we got, like you said, get in the tape and figure out the breakdowns and what we can build on.
Yeah. And you're going to find out about pride this week. You're going to find out about who just can brush this off and who really takes it personally.
Yeah.
And I don't want somebody that can just brush it off and be like, well, we lost that one. Oh, well. No, I want pissed off people. I want people that go out and try to get better. But right. I think there's got to be an attitude adjustment of, look, we weren't close. We weren't in this game. And yeah. There were certain plays that could have changed that momentum early in the game, but you would have faded in the second half. You have to get a lot better to compete with OU. Rice struggled. I guess Rice lost to Sam Houston tonight. I'm not sure.
Rice always brings it to us, though. So.
Right. You did it to you last year. 2 years ago, they played you to a 1-score game. Last play down at that other end. And I know that was a rough one for you. That was the game you got injured in, right? The Rice game?
Yeah.
That sucked. And then you go to Cincinnati. So OU, I don't know that I'd consider that a winnable game. You go and you play, you see what happens. But after OU, you do have some opportunities to show the improvement. I think you'll see a team that is more disciplined next week, I don't think you'll have 10 penalties. I mean, UNLV turned down an offensive pass interference, which you virtually never see.
Right.
It brought up a fourth down, and that's why they did it. But you just don't see that one too often. So you had 10 penalties. That one would have been 11. I think they declined another one or two. That's a lot. And
those penalties got to go down.
I can't imagine that a guy like Willie Fritz is going to let that happen again. So see where you're at in penalties in a week, in 2 weeks. At this point, you just have to look for improvements. You have to go seek out what are these guys doing better than what we saw tonight, because that was pretty bad. Derek Parish, you were great. You acted like you've done this before, like just smooth right into it. We appreciate that.
It. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, we have this guy that does basketball shows with us that's kind of, his name's Galen Robinson. He's in China right now playing who knows what. But you're just as smooth as Galen is. And you could do this in the future if this is something you want to do. But thank you so much for being here with us. Towns, thank you. Good job. And we'll do this again tomorrow night. Brad and me for Cats, or no, not Cats. Talking about them Cougars. I'm gonna watch a lot of film. I'm gonna watch this probably tonight and probably tomorrow, and then Monday we'll be back on campus, practice the Willie's presser, practice Tuesday, Wednesday. Good content coming up. There's a lot to write about this week. Finally get to see something, didn't see much, but I am fascinated to see how this goes from here.
I'm curious and excited.
Curious and excited, he says. All right, Derek, thank you so much. Brad, thank you. We're going to call that a night. Hour and 11 minutes. That's a short one for how these have gone lately. But thank you all so much for watching. GoCougs.com all week. I'm sure Andy and those guys are still on. You can go watch the end of their show. But thank you all so much for being here. And we'll do this again in a week. Thanks,
Thank y'all
guys.
for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Derek.